Hi everyone, I'm Ken from Crypto Trading KS. If you're new, welcome, and welcome back to our regular community. Let's run the numbers. Bitcoin is currently trading at 33,167, down 1.28%. Ethereum currently trading at 2023, down 3.92%. If you're new here, I'd just like to let you know that everything I do for you is free. Twice a day, 7 days a week, I report on the movements of the crypto market. One session is spent uncovering the true trend of Bitcoin and the crypto industry and looking across stock market indices, different things like that, gold, precious metals, oil, inflation data, whatever we need to look at. And of course, I'm always looking for black swan events. The other part is this session where we look at timing, we look at how Bitcoin is going and how the alts are going. My goal in these videos is help you to be more of a financial blessing to yourself and those you love. Let's get into it. Rule 333, never act on fear. This is a really important lesson. In trading and investing, just like life, if you act on fear, you typically create the fear. We want to always stand back from fear. Use our knowledge, be proactive, not reactive. But what does this really mean? There's a quote from Jack Canfield. He's an American author and did the Chicken Soup for the Soul series, which has more than 250 titles and sold 500 million copies. Wow, that is fantastic. Well done, Jack. He says, everything you want is on the other side of fear. The incredible thing with trading and investing, and we always know that every time an investor buys or sells, they become a trader. We're going to see that under specific circumstances, investors can really shortchange themselves if they get pulled into a market at the wrong time, which is generally the way of things. Let's have a look into fear and what it really means for your investing and trading. I have a super stylized story here for you. Let's pretend that before the COVID crash, that C3PO and Yoda decided to buy Bitcoin, and they were really, really lucky. They picked the maximum price of $10,449. Then along came the Empire led by Darth Vader, and Darth slashed the price of Bitcoin and it fell off a cliff. And of course, all markets fell off a cliff, including gold, precious metals. Everything fell off a cliff at that stage. The bottom of that cycle was 38.50. Now, we know that C3PO is very prone to fear. Not bad being an android. Okay, so what did C3PO do? He probably saw this coming down and he said, oh no, I've got to sell. Doom, doom, we're all doomed. I've got to get out of here. And let's say C3PO, unfortunately, sold it at the 38.50 mark. Yoda, who battles Darth Vader all the time, they're in mortal combat with each other. Yoda said, Darth, I know what you're up to. I'm going to buy C3PO's Bitcoin. What C3PO sells, I'm going to buy. And so Yoda did that. Now, what happened? C3PO walked away from the market. And this is what happens to a lot of investors and traders. I'm saying this as a kind of a fun story, but there's no fun in it at all. If you've been caught on the wrong side of the market, of course my feelings are for you. What we do here on this channel is try to alter the odds of the game in your favor. Going through stories like this will really help you. Now, Yoda held. He held here at 10,449. He was lucky enough to buy more down here at the 38.50 mark, and he's been holding. Each time Darth Vader comes into the market and slashes prices, Yoda is buying through dollar cost averaging. Anytime it falls big time, Yoda buys. It fell big time, Yoda buys. It fell big time, Yoda buys. Yoda buys. All of these big time falls, Yoda buys. The difference between Yoda and C3PO, Yoda has institutional mind thinking. He thinks like an institution of one. He says, Yoda says, I know what this game is. I know what Darth Vader is doing. Every time he comes up and slashes prices, I know what he's doing. He's the one who is accumulating down the bottom here to ride it up to the top. Yoda is aware of the rules of the game. He doesn't agree with the rules of the game, and none of us do, but they are the rules of the game, and we need to be aware. Now, what's happening to price? As price continues its ramp up, C3PO says, wow, hang on a second, I got this wrong. Maybe it's got legs. And there's lots of articles in the paper and YouTubers spouting that it can never ever fall down. It's going to the moon, etc., etc. And what happens? C3PO times the top of the market again at 64,895. Now, I've spoken with many people in the community, and not to parallel them to C3PO, but to understand this process. This is the process that the empire uses, basically. Institutions use this bidding up of price, and they've been doing it for hundreds and hundreds of years to attract retail in, to disburse their investments, which are large. They need a lot of people in the market to take their billions and billions of dollars off the table. It's like I said before, it's not fair, but if we can understand, we can transform the thinking from C3PO thinking to Yoda thinking. A lot of people have asked me, Ken, how do I dollar cost average in? When do I do it? Do I do it at a certain time in the month, regularly like that? I would say, please don't do that. I would say, always buy on a red day. The redder, the better, because we know where this cycle is going. Once a day, every day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, we look at the crypto market and see where it is going. We say to ourselves, we believe it's going up. Let the data prove that to us today and every single day from here forward. We take it really, really seriously. That's what all the previous episodes before this particular timing episode are all about. Timing is no good unless we understand where the market is. Now let's return to this horrible situation. C3PO represents retail investors or retail thinking, and this is really, really sad. There's a complete lack of education out there for retail investors, and you can pretty much understand why. Institutions don't want retail investors to be educated. What could they do if retail acted institutionally? Who would they take the money from? You can see why that's the case. And of course, institutions know that there's so many people out there looking to sell different things, and they sell it through fear, FUD, FOMO, whatever the fear is. They're selling something by fear. Buy our newsletter, buy our list, buy our whatever. And as price goes up, people don't want to miss out. As price comes down, they need to know if it's coming down more. It's a really problematic thing with all stock markets, markets in general, crypto markets. Doesn't matter what the market is. This is just the reality. I'm spending a bit of time on this because I think it's so important to understand how to contextualize these tops, these bottoms, and how to do something about it. The important thing to understand, if you got in around the top and you suffered these high prices, and right now, well, around right now, we're trading at around $33,000. It's not your fault for the position that you're in. It's the advertising, the media and press, all the hype that's pushed through so many stations. I started this station because I was just sick of it. I've been trading for decades. And I looked at it and I said, this has to stop. If I can just save one person, if I can educate one person, mission accomplished. Okay, so let's go through what we need to do from here. C3PO, when he sees this price falling, literally halving, of course he would get out down here. What normal person wouldn't? Because people expect the price to keep going down, all the way to zero. And there's no shortage of people saying that will be the case. We know because we analyze so much data and we understand the structure of crypto, that is definitely not the case. But many people have vested interests, so they say these things. What is Yoda doing? Yoda held here, bought all the red dips, accumulated, standing fast, because Yoda understands where this thing is going. If you suffered losses, and I know a lot of people have, I read it in the comments, hang on, we're only 50% of the way through. This is an exponential asset class. The best is yet to come. Don't feel bad. In my early trading and investing days, I didn't obey Rule 29. I thought paper losses were totally real. I thought paper gains were totally real. I would sit there and say, wow, how much money have I made today? The next day, how much money have I lost today? The next day, how much money did I gain today? It's all fake. If it's on paper, if you still hold it, for example, if you're like Yoda and you're holding, this is a fake loss. And if you're like Yoda and you buy, this is a fake gain. And fake gain, fake gain, fake gain, fake gain, fake loss, fake everything. Why do I say that? It is because it only becomes real when you sell. If you've banked it, it becomes real. Otherwise, it's just fake. The profit is fake, the loss is fake. At the moment, a lot of people are sitting on losses. It's fake loss. It's only real if you sell. This is a really tough lesson to learn, Rule 29. It's tough to control fear in a market. I totally feel for everyone in our community that's lost money. There is a better way. You're on the path to think like an institution of one. You've got people around you that support you in the community as well. We're all in this together. The focus is to make your life more of a blessing for yourself. Of course, you need to do that first. Put your oxygen mask on first. Then you can go from there and help others. We talk about this each episode, psychological safety, but I think it's really poignant in this episode. That happy face is C3PO. Just think about it. Price is getting bid up and bid up. Everybody's going to extreme greed. This is when Yoda gets cautious. Yoda's waiting for the pullback. He's not comfortable. Yoda is not comfortable in extreme greed situations. He just said it's going to blow down, and it does. And that's where Yoda accumulates. Yoda cannot ever pick the bottom, can't ever pick the top, because they only happen after the event. Comes up again, extreme greed, Yoda's buying the pullbacks. Comes up again, Yoda's buying the pullbacks. This is the dollar cost averaging that people are asking me about. He sees a lower high. This is a high, this is a high, this is a higher high, this high is lower. That points to weakness. So many commentators were saying it's never going to go lower. And you could have easily believed them. If we draw a trend line in here, it was clear that the market cut here. The weakness was going to be accelerated down to this capitulation that occurred here. We always look, as students of Yoda, we always look for capitulation, a massive sell-off with massive liquidations. That's where we want to be. That's the ultimate buying price. This is a foundation of a building. I'll show you that later, just how important that is to understand. Right now, today, the fear and greed index is 20, showing extreme fear. It was 20 yesterday. The day before that, it was 28 4 days ago. You can see that there's so much fear in here. Institutions love fear because guess what? They create it. We understand that the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust is unlocked. It's always been unlocking all the way through here. It just has a specific large unlock. Options expiration maxpain is still stuck at 36,000 so far. It hasn't moved down. That's for the end of the month. That should give us some comfort as well. Let's keep on going. To have an institutional mindset, it's really important to be methodical and very disciplined in what you do. Rule 174, trend, timing, trigger, T cubed. We understand the trend. That's what we do through the KS model. That was done in the earlier session. This is a timing session, which allows you to pull the trigger on your buys or sells. Most people do this exactly the opposite way. They buy or sell, and then they figure out where the trend is going because they find out they've been bitten by it. It's always make sure you go for the trend and the timing and then the trigger. It will save you untold amounts of money. Rule 1122, for timing, we use the KS method, which is a step-by-step way of analyzing the market. The first thing we do is to look at the news from the eyes of someone with no experience in crypto at all. Just try to read the headlines and figure out if it's positive or negative. Bitcoin is down 45%. Is it time to buy? This is kind of a negative and a positive. It seems positive, so let's just say that's a positive. Identity thief bought Bitcoin. Well, that's what? Criminals buying Bitcoin? Okay. Rumors of Apple Bitcoin purchase swirl on social media. Supposedly, Apple just bought $2 billion worth of Bitcoin. Bitcoin's range play likely to end with a bullish breakout. Yep, that is positive. Crypto prices today plunge. That's negative. Seize £180 million worth. Yeah, that's definitely negative. Bill Miller believes that Bitcoin something can't be a store of value in all likelihood. We're not going to read it. So as most investors wouldn't read it, they'll just look at the headline. New Bitcoin law risks ensnarling El Salvador. Oh, if you got ensnarling and a risk, that's got to be bad, whatever that is. Investors withdraw 66 million worth of Bitcoin. Wow, that's got to be bad. Single Bitcoin transaction has a bigger carbon footprint. Does it really? I tell you what, there's a lot of information analysis on this carbon footprint. I need to do a complete episode. Bitcoin is one of the lowest consumers of electricity relative to gold and banking, which are the relevant sectors it's supposedly competing with. That's basically 6 negative, 4 positive. So we can see that this is just news reflecting the current market price. Let's have a look at Bitcoin's technical analysis. We can see there is a bit of CPI, Consumer Price Index, FUD. And FUD is fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Inflation, basically. Last episode, Bitcoin was trading at about $30,067. Currently, it's trading at $32,985. I mentioned that there needs to be more fuel for this rally to go up. That fuel is supplied by shorting positions that get liquidated. When they get liquidated, the price goes up. We've got a fairly solid substantial resistance at $35,000. When Bitcoin gets above that, and this little bit of structural resistance around the 36,171 mark will be right to rock and roll. We were almost getting there before. It's just the nature of these things. Price moving in a wave, always up and down. The support below, major structural support at 32,414. Support above that at 32,834. Okay, this is really good. When we look at the shorts, we can see them increasing. This increase is always good for Bitcoin because it's the rocket fuel that Bitcoin requires to take off. We can see the longs relative to the shorts. The longs are increasing as well. This is a very positive move. It may not seem like one, but it absolutely is. Let's have a look at the Ethereum longs and shorts. The shorts are always measured in red, the longs in green. There was a lot of liquidations in the longs. The longs have been a little bit hammered, and we look at the shorts. Well, the shorts have been hammered too, but the longs more so. So we really expect the longs to pick up to put pressure on the shorts. Let's go across to open interest. We can see the maxpain price is still 36,000 for the end of the month option expiration. That's exactly what it was yesterday. Let's have a look at Ethereum. The maxpain price yesterday on Ethereum was 2,400, exactly what it is today. There has been a change in the call to put relationship. A call is if I call you up, that's pretty cool. And if someone was to put you down, that's not very nice. So a put is a short, a call is a long. Calls want the price to go up, puts want the price to go down. The calls were greater yesterday in relative percent terms. So we can see the calls have been decreasing today, which is quite normal when you get a sell-off in a market. So the real question, how bad was the sell-off? Let's check it out. To get an answer to that question, we look at 24-hour liquidation across all pairs. This is from bybit.com/liquidation data. It's really, really good to just watch these. We do it every day. 24-hour liquidations were 247.84 million. 53,382 traders were liquidated. Let's have a look. Over the past hour, around 84% of liquidations were long. Over the past 12 hours, around 70% were long. We can see here that there's not been a big liquidation really at the moment. So let's drill into the 15-minute. We can see there's been a little bit of pressure, well, quite a bit of pressure on the longs relative to the shorts, but we're kind of flatlined here. Nobody's really winning either side in either direction. Slight bit of downward pressure on prices. Let's have a look at some on-chain data. Net realized profit and loss. You can see that people are actually starting to move into profit. That means people have bought the dip because this is lower than previously. It's showing underpinning strength. When we look at the stablecoin supply ratio, SSR oscillator, what we're seeking is to understand, are stablecoins being deployed into Bitcoin? This is specifically for Bitcoin, and Bitcoin leads the market, so this is a really important indicator. We can see more and more stablecoins are being deployed into Bitcoin. So what does all this mean? A lot of people have asked me, Ken, can you sum up what all of this means? It's just like a lot of data. What's the story underneath it? We can look back and see there are positive signs in the crypto engine that this is bottoming. That price is set to go up. And if you manage to look at the previous episode, you would see across all the markets, that is also the case. Now, before getting into any alts, we look at crypto total market cap. What we want to see is the underpinning structure of all the coins. This includes Bitcoin as well. We know right now that the total market cap of crypto is $1.337 trillion. It's just below this once support, now resistance level, and you notice this structural resistance above. That means that we could see further downward pressure on price. It's really important to keep these things in mind. I will just tell you how it is. I don't have anything to sell, nothing like that, no list, no reports. All I can do is to help share my knowledge and try to keep you as safe as possible. We know the overall crypto market is going up. This structural resistance here is a problem for the crypto market. That will get over, price of the entire crypto market will get over that when Bitcoin gets over 35,000. That's the key. That's what we're looking at. With all these factors in mind, we're in a much, much better position to understand what each crypto in the market is doing. We always start with the top seven. Top seven: Bitcoin, Ethereum, Tether, Binance Coin, Cardano, XRP, and USDC. We lost DOGE. Let's have a look at the top 24-hour percent gainers. Axie Infinity, One, HBAR, OKB, Flow, Rev, and Swissborg. I have a whole video on how to draw lines. Now, I thought I would just show you quickly this. This is a really, really good tool. It's called Web Paint. So if you'd like to add this to your Chrome or Firefox or whatever you're using, it could be really cool. I love it. This was a recommendation from one of the community members. Thank you so much. We can use this to try to determine where resistance and support levels are being changed. We can see here on OKB that it's actually being supported underneath that price. Harmony 1, there's a few things we could do here. We can look at this and say there's a degree of support here. We could draw another couple of lines and say that price has managed to get over that resistance. It really needs to turn it into support. So we would expect a potential wave back. Everything price is always moving in a wave. Just always keep that in mind. Axie Infinity, wave up, wave down, wave up, wave down, wave up, of course, wave down. This is the nature of crypto. Let's look at the 24-hour percent losers. Theta, Synthetics, TEL, Nano, Aave, MDX, and KCS. Let's do some Web Paint again. I've just quickly drawn some lines so that you can see. You can see Theta, it's come down over the past 24 hours. This resistance is now turning into support. It's a good potential that Theta will bounce around here. We see Synthetics, it's just crossed under this support and now it's turned to resistance. We would expect when a price hits resistance for it to go down. We can have a look at TEL Coin. We see this resistance has been passed. That is actually quite good. This is how you can kind of tell how things can turn around without a lot of full-on TA. Nano, you can see the price has come down. It's retesting that particular resistance and going down. This is a little bit undecided exactly what that will do. That's quite a sell-off. If we look at Aave, resistance, support, that is a cradle. Aave could potentially take off. Let's have a look at MDX. That support was broken. Now that is now in a downtrend. MDX could come back and retest that line. If it does, it will probably resume down. KCS, support has broken underneath that support. This is just a really, really quick and dirty way to do things, but it's really fascinating and it's a great way to train your eye. Episode 104, How to Read Crypto Thumbnail Charts, is totally devoted to going through 100 of those particular thumbnails to give you a bit of an understanding how to draw those lines. A lot of people are new, and when it comes to drawing support and resistance lines, episode 93 will be really, really helpful to you. I've taken it so slowly. I've gone from a position where I assume you know absolutely nothing and take you step by step into actually drawing support and resistance lines. You don't have to use indicators. You don't have to pay for those things. I've been doing this for many, many years. I would never use an indicator to draw any support or resistance. There's a lot of reasons for that, but the most important one is you need to get really familiar with the chart. I hope that's helped to try and contextualize how these price movements can occur. Let's have a look at the 7-day top percentage gainers. Axie Infinity, AXS, Flow, SDX, Luna, One, FDT, and Mana. Let's go the other way. The greatest losses over the past 7 days: Telcoin, Internet Computer, Compound, Sushi, SHIB, CRV, and XDC. Just to help you out, in Telcoin, a couple of people asked me to analyze Telcoin. We can do it right here in the last 7 days. What is this showing you? If you were to draw a line down here, that would be resistance. Telcoin has passed across resistance, hasn't it? This is outside that resistance area. This is a very quick and dirty way to do it, but Telcoin is starting to show a degree of strength. We would need to dig into it deeper, but that's certainly a lot better than if we look at ICP. That is not as strong as Tel. Compound is starting to consolidate on a base. You can see when you look at these patterns, the more charts that you look at, the better you will be. It's a great investment in your time. As part of our Community's Edge, we look into Binance derivatives, not to trade them, but just to understand them. Particularly, we're interested in the change in the price of the contract over the past 24 hours. This is this number here. 24-hour trading volume was 42.98 billion. 24-hour open interest was 6.47 billion. Now let's have a look down here. We're trying to find anything which is double-digit positive. AXX, Axie Infinity, is positive. We see a lot of negatives. Those negatives just show that people aren't interested in buying those. ONT has a little bit of interest, CHR a little bit. It just goes to show you that there's some positive movement under the hood of the crypto engine. Alice and AXS tend to move together. Let's have a look at the futures. They've all turned negative, which is pretty much the way when things reduce in price, when the crypto market reduces in price, this is what we expect. Let's have a look at Ethereum. Ethereum, currently trading at 1994, has support below at 1960 and structural support at 1909. We always say price is negatively biased. It tends to love to go down, but always price is moving in a wave. It goes up and then it comes down. It goes up and down, up and down. It's the nature of price. We're getting into some fairly good support down around the 1909 level. Resistance above is at 2020 and 2100. Let's have a look at Binance Coin, BNB. BNB is currently trading at 310.27. It's literally at support right now. There's another lower level of support at 302.71. There's structural support playing in here at 291.52. Structural is very strong support. I've got a whole video on how you can draw structural support and structural resistance line. It's just this one here, episode 93. Let's have a look at ADA. You can notice that these coins are pretty similar. They've got very good structural support under their immediate price. What does that mean? Price remembers its history. When you have structural support, traders, investors are putting buy orders there, and that creates a buy wall to stop the price coming down. When price comes down to a buy wall, it tends to reverse up from it, especially if shorts are in the business, because they tend to get liquidated around these levels. That's why it's really important. Even if you're short, if you're long, it doesn't matter. You really need to know your structural resistance and structural support lines. ADA is currently trading at 1.2917, literally at support right now. It has structural support below at 1.2411 and 1.2127. Resistance above at 1.3115 and 1.3343. On a red day like today, this is a hard rule to follow, but it's really important. Just think about Yoda. What does Yoda do? Yoda lets price come to you, or come to Yoda. But if it's you saying this, let price come to you, is rule 94. What does that mean? It means buy at support. Let's have a look at XRP. XRP is currently trading at 62.60. It has support below at 61.36 and 59.99. To let price come to you is as simple as putting buy orders at limit down on these lines, these support lines that I've just read out. XRP has very good structural support at 56.94 and down at 51.66 and 49.44. We're not planning on getting down there, but the point is that it is there, and that will act as a buffer to slow price and reverse it. Going the other way, the resistance is around its current price now and above at 65.60 and 67.40. Dogecoin is currently trading at 21.83. It's literally at support. It has further support below at 18.753 and 17.980. It has resistance above at 21.095 and 22.200. Let's have a look at Polkadot. DOT is currently trading at 14.456. It's just above support at 14.023 and 12.911. It has resistance above at 14.748 and resistance above that at 15.357. If you're on Facebook, please come across to the Crypto Trading KS group. It's a public group. We've got a few people in here today. We just started this one off today. You're very welcome to come across, and I interact with people. I ask them what they would like in the video, and I'm really interested to help people out. I think the most important thing that you can do is just reach out and let me know what your concerns are. I'll always do my best to help you out. If Facebook isn't for you, you can always reach out and contact me directly on Twitter. That's my handle, STANDFIELD, Ken. Always happy to hear from anyone, and really happy to help you out however I can. I hope that this little story has helped you a bit. You may not be a Star Wars fan, and that's totally cool. I think really what it's about is just trying to understand how retail psychology and institution of one psychology is totally different. When we feel psychological safety, and the shorts are feeling a lot of psychological safety. What happened to C3PO when he goes long here could happen if C3PO was going short here. This is just the nature of the markets. It's just the rules. It's very important that we are aware of them so we can work around them or work them to our favor. I hope you found that content useful. Everything I do for you is free. Please be aware of scammers. I do these videos to assist you to be more of a financial blessing to yourself and those you love. Please say hi and let me know where you're viewing from. And of course, if you have any questions, I would love to help out. If you would like twice daily updates, 7 days a week on price movements in the crypto market, please subscribe to YouTube and Facebook and follow me on Twitter. Crypto is volatile. Always prepare yourself for the best and worst case scenarios. Reality will likely be between them. Stay safe out there. Take care and see you next time. Bye for now.